Hi, my name is Heather Nunziato, and I'm a Board Certified Behavior Analyst with Brett DiNovi Associates. Autism is a spectrum disorder, meaning that how it affects each person is extremely different. Not one person is the same. So when going out with individuals with autism for community-based activities such as going out to eat, taking public transportation, or getting a haircut, they can all go through different experiences. They might process it in a completely different way from one person to another, and they all might experience different types of sensory experiences, anxiety, or any other challenges that might be different from one another. So in this video, I will briefly be going over the process and the steps it takes to be getting a haircut out in the community and finding the success with your client and working with the stylist in the salon to have them understand what it takes to work with this type of population.
He was screaming, he wasn't saying nice things, and we've been working on it slowly, and now we're to a point now where this is probably the best he's ever done. He didn't kick or anything, he didn't say anything, and she's actually been able to stylist here. Before it was just as quick as we could to get some cuts. So it's been such a wonderful, positive experience because it's just, his hair is just, has been such a challenging issue for us.
The mother mentions in the video that this was the first place that her son was able to get a haircut from start to finish. She explained how the staff at the hair salon are extremely patient and they understand the process it takes to work with an individual with autism, and that they have to remain completely patient and understand that each person is different, so that they might react differently sitting in the chair versus another individual. So some tips you can do when you want to take your son or daughter to get their haircut could be calling the salon in advance and asking them when is a good time to come when it's not very crowded, so the individual may not be as distracted. There may not be other stuff going on. If the place is empty or just not crowded, they might be able to focus a little bit more. Also, asking if anyone works there does have experience working with individuals with autism. You definitely want them to have that background and knowledge, because they're gonna have to know that it's a lot different than working with a typical individual. When you schedule your appointment, you might want to ask if there's a block of time that you can take out of the salon schedule. Some stylists might stack their appointments one after another. So if they have extra time in their schedule, they might want to block it out so that they give the learner some extra time, because you don't really know how the appointment might be.
Sat in the front and looked around, and then the next week he'd come in and we'd finally get him into the chair and just sit, and then the next week he'd come in and I'd comb it with no cape, and then he would come in the next week and we'd put the cape on and comb with just the scissors in my hand. And we've just really come a long way, and now I'm able to actually give him a full haircut from beginning to end, and he leaves happy.
Shaping is an ABA procedure that involves differentially reinforcing successive approximations to reach a terminal behavior. And in this video, the terminal behavior is getting a haircut. So the process of getting a haircut could be from walking into the salon and waiting for your turn to sitting in the chair, putting on the cape or the gown that the stylist puts on you, getting your hair combed, getting your hair wet, and the stylist actually able to cut your hair and then style it, and then you leave. That would be the process, and those are the mini responses that would take to reach the terminal goal. So individuals with autism may already have those separate responses in their repertoire, but they may not be able to shape that and keep that in the full sequence. So it is our job as the BCBAs or the RBTs to work on shaping that behavior into the actual getting a haircut. So after each successful step of the shaping process of getting the haircut, you want to reward the individual. So if the first step was to just look around in the waiting area, that's what receives the reinforcement. The next session is when you go into the salon, the individual will look around and wait in the waiting area, but that's not going to be the step that receives reinforcement. That's going to be put on extinction. The next step would be to go sit in the chair, and then that would receive reinforcement, and that would continue up until he reaches the terminal behavior, and he would receive a lot of reinforcement for meeting that goal and being able to sit in a quiet way and remain compliant throughout the whole process. Other strategies to use while the person is actually getting their haircut could be to implement a token board. In the video, you see the mother holding a token board for her son, and they can receive tokens for remaining compliant in the chair, having their hands on their lap, not swaying back and forth, so the person with scissors in their hand can actually do their job. So by introducing the tokens, they would know that they would be earning whatever toy or edible that they might really want and what motivates them. So if they're on a token economy of 5 and they get 5 already while sitting in the chair, and the stylist still has a way to go with the haircut still, you might want to talk to the stylist ahead of time and say, is it okay if he gets a little bit of a break between cuts, if that's all right? So because he does earn this, and you want to be able to follow through, and then we can shape that by having the person sit in their chair for longer, and they would receive their reinforcement at the end of the actual haircut.